Oh, okay. So the third one, and then we don't have to sit here and be angry at Dr. Block. I am grateful for him. I went up earlier before the talk, shook his hand, told him I valued his work, and etc. So, okay, because it's Deuteronomy, he shared one of his favorite verses in Deuteronomy, and this is it. It's a beautiful verse. It's absolutely a beautiful verse. So I have no quibble about the verse. It's Deuteronomy 10, 12, and 13. And I'll read, this is the NIV I think I have here. And now, Israel, what does the Lord your God ask of you? But to fear the Lord your God, to walk in obedience to him, to love him, to serve the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul, and to observe the Lord's commands and decrees that I'm giving you today for your own good. Okay, absolutely beautiful. I know people who've memorized this in Hebrew because it's such a rich and it's manageable, right? It's 2 verses. It's
give me the verse. Give me the reference. Give me the receipt again.
Deuteronomy 10, 12 through 13. Now, so he points this out and he says, you know what? The 10 commandments are like your 10 fingers, right? Or your 10 words. Sorry, he doesn't use commandments. He's
10
threw
words,
that under
right?
the bus. 10 words are your 10 fingers. But here, this is just one hand. It's one hand because there's 5 things. And he goes, Israel, what does the Lord ask of you? To fear the Lord your God. That's your thumb. To walk in obedience. That's your pointer finger, right? To love him. That's your middle finger. He says that's your longest finger, right? To serve the Lord your God with all your heart and soul. That's the ring finger, right?
I remember this.
That out, that you service. And then he says, and the pinky is to observe the Lord's commands and decrees that I'm giving you today. And he says, look at all these. These are all of these 5 things are so important. But the pinky, someone could lop off your pinky and you'd still be able to function.
And all the staff of TorahResource is sitting in the front row going like this.
Yeah, Caleb, Tim, me, and we're like, okay, so what he did, this is a Christian midrash. He basically, of course, there's nothing in Deuteronomy 10, verses 12 and 13 that says, hey, think of this as a hand, right? This is Block's imposition of some sort of, to try to create an illustration, maybe a mnemonic for people to remember. Oh, I've got, but it's absolutely awful. It reminds me of what Yeshua warns us of in the Sermon on the Mount. Whoever teaches people that these things don't matter. And that is a big wake up, because here you have someone who is teaching so much good and important perspectives to keep in mind when we're reading the Torah with a gospel-minded frame. I mean, he's done so much for that. So that's why I can't say the value of that Pronomian attitude that Dr. Block has contributed to, and it's in his own teaching. So that means his students are getting this. Those churches that have him come speak, scholars that read his books, and then the people that are influenced by those pastors and teachers, right? So that he's got a core Pronomian attitude, I think, that has a lot of light, and I'm not trying to diminish those goods. However, reading Deuteronomy 10, 12 through 13 through the analogy of the human hand is horrifically wrong. And it's leading people the wrong way. And especially what he did with his little midrash is you can do without the pinky. You can do without observing the commandments. Right. He says that's just the pinky. As if these are 5 independent things. Rather, these are all ands. These are all one thing. These are not individual digits. These are all attitudes that emerge from the heart, as Yeshua says, to love God with all your heart, soul, and strength. And all the commandments are contingent upon that. So that was, in other words, here's my point. You can't, if we just look at the 5 items here in Deuteronomy 10, 12 through 13, you have fear. You fear God. You walk with him, love him. Can you stop there? Can I fear God, walk in obedience, love him, but not serve him?
Right.
Can I love God but not walk in obedience? Can I say I love God but not fear him? That's the picture. So to love him and then not observe the commandments, that's a problem. That's like a joint that's out of whack that needs repair. That's a place that needs to be there. There needs to be some I don't know. So there has to be some sort of adjustment or healing so that there can be wholeness, so that the person can be whole and see, oh, the commandments are expression of love. The fear of God and the love of God go together. These list of 5 things, it's not like a hand where I could lose one of them and still function.
Continue listening to this conversation by clicking the full show link on the left side of your screen, or check out the video on the right that YouTube thinks you'll like. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel so you never miss content from Messiah Matters.